Hey everybody, it's Professor Lectivire. I'm hoping to have a better camera setup now than I used to because the iPod won't be moving around as much. But I was going through my YouTube channel and I saw that I had a request from somebody named Atomic254 to do a Poké tutorial video because apparently there haven't been any for X and Y, and I actually noticed that but didn't think about making a video, so thanks for the suggestion, and that's just what we're going to do here. So we're going to start with the absolute basics. So Poké chaining is something that originated from Diamond and Pearl, and basically what you did was you get this item post-game called the Poké. You'd go into grass, and you'd have to walk 50 steps to charge it up, and then when you used it, patches of grass would shake, and if you walked into one, a wild Pokemon would appear. And then as you got out of the battle, you'd have to catch it or kill it, not run away, because that breaks the chain. And that's what chaining, I'll explain that in a minute. But basically, the more patches of grass would shake after you caught it or killed it. And then you'd go into another patch of grass in the hopes that you'd find the exact same Pokemon again, because that's what chaining is you want to keep finding the same Pokemon over and over again. So basically, how it works is, you'll have the odds of finding a shiny, which may have been lowered in this game, we're not sure, but I'm going to go off of the assumption that they haven't, because I'm not positive if they have been. So the odds of finding a shiny are 1 in 8,192. So basically how it works is every time you find a Pokemon in a row, the odds become like, for example, if you find a second Pokemon, again, that's the same species, it'll be 2 in 8,192, then 3, and so on and so forth, until you get to 40. Then it stops. Your odds don't get any better, but by now your odds are actually down to 1 in 200. Which I'll show you in a moment how that all would work. But starting with the absolute basics, where you get the Poké Professor Sycamore's lab, where you got your Kanto starter much earlier in the game. Go to the second floor here. I've already got mine, but I'm just going to show you where. You get it? You talk to this guy here. He's not going to give it to me, but he has a research target every day, and he gives you items for looking for that Pokemon, but there's nothing. You get some sort of an item for that, but nothing. So basically what chaining is really used for is to get shinies, obviously. So that was the Poké. Alright. So you're going to want to pick an area to start chaining. And so I'm going to cut out getting there, and I'm going to come back when I'm actually at the spot I'm going to chain at. Okay, so we're back. This is Route 5. This is where I caught my shiny Skittle. If you haven't seen that video, it's on my channel. This is one of my favorite spots for shiny chaining because it's got basically everything you want. So I'm just going to go over the basic rules and what you really need for shiny chaining to make your life easier and not make the same mistakes I did. Okay, so number 1, make sure Poké in your bag is the only thing registered. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of time having to click 2 buttons in order. It's kind of dumb, but also, yeah, just do that. You're going to need a lot of max repels. I'm talking like 200 max repels. I don't really need to buy more because I'm not chaining a ton right now, but even this is pretty good because you're going to want to keep using. You want to make sure you have a really high leveled Pokemon to lead your team, and make sure you have a max repel on. That is very, very important. I gotta turn this off. Okay. So yeah, you just want to make sure you have a lot of max repels. One big thing that always messes me up, a lot of people are accustomed to using the roller skates on this game. Don't, because it breaks your chain literally every time. If you're walking around the grass and you accidentally start using your roller skate, there goes your chain. So don't do that. So let's get into the actual hunting here. I'm gonna turn the music on. Okay, so let me just show you an example. So you're gonna click the Poké and you're gonna notice these patches will shake. As you can see, there's 5 of them. So you're gonna, as you can maybe see, let me see again. So every time you run 50 steps, you can use the Poké again. So, okay, as you can see, some of them shook at different rates. I think there's fast shaking ones and not so fast shaking ones. So once you pick a type of patch you're gonna use, stick with it, or otherwise your chain's gonna break. So Okay, so I saw a patch up here that I liked. Okay, it's a Skiddo. So you either want to catch it or kill it. In this case, I'm going to kill it because I have way too many Skiddos as it is. Avoid the attack. Okay, so a couple of things you want to remember about after you... Seriously? Oh. Okay, so after you're done killing or catching your first one, you're going to see the patches will shake again without you having to even use the Poké Radar at all. So, okay, so there's only 3. One thing you always want, some more rules to shaking patches. If they're on an edge of like these patches right here on the edge, never ever ever use anything that's on the edges. So basically none of these patches on the edge. Those are bad. Another couple tips I could give. Oh wow, I just messed it up, didn't I? Oh wait, no, I got the right one. Okay, so another thing you want to remember is never ever go into a patch unless you see 4 patches. Like, they don't need to be 4 of the type you use. You just need to make sure you see 4 patches shake, or otherwise your chain won't necessarily break, but it's just to ensure your best chance at surviving. Another thing, never go to patches that are close to you. You want to get patches just far away without being on an edge. And never walk up because there's a chance that the one behind you shook and you don't know that. So like as you can see, there was 2 I think about right here that shook. Don't go to those even though they looked okay. Another thing that never is really talked about in tutorials, but I seem to have a problem with a lot while chaining for my Skiddo, I'd see 2 really good patches like right next to each other far away, but whenever I went into those, my chain would always seem to break. That's probably not always true, but it's just something I felt happened. So I saw there was a patch up here. That looked pretty good. There's always a chance that your chain's going to break anyway, but this is what you can do for your best chance at success. So I'm not going to go all the way to 40 right here, but just to give you a basic idea. Okay, so as you can see, there was 4 right there. There was 1 on the edge, another one on the edge, 1 right here, and 1 right here. This one right here probably has a Skiddo, but whenever I do this, I always get a little bit nervous. When I don't know, it's probably, but I always like to make sure I feel good about every patch I hit. I didn't really like any of those. Probably one of those was fine. I mean, definitely one of those is fine because there's usually one patch that has it. But if you don't like the patches you see, you can keep using the Poké Radar over and over again to reset the patches, and your chain's not going to break. And I just walked in the wrong patch. But your chain's not going to break. Nothing will go wrong. See, the one I just walked into right next to me had a Skiddo, but still, it's just generally never a good idea to walk into patches right next to your player character. I've done it lots of times, and usually it goes wrong. Eventually, once you get, you don't necessarily have to get to 40, but eventually you're going to see a patch that shakes and has little sparkles, and there's a sound effect, so if you don't see it, you'll hear it, so make sure you're playing with sound. Then, if you hit 40 without finding a shiny patch, which is what I did, once you hit 40, don't go into any more patches, just start running back and forth, and hitting Y, or if you have it on register, Y. Keep hitting that over and over again, so that way you can keep you'll keep your chain of 40, but you'll also keep like respawning the patches. So like I'll do right here. You saw 4 patches. I run back and forth 50 steps. There's 4 more patches, and then you can keep doing that over and over again until eventually you'll see the shiny patch, and you'll get your shiny. And now another thing that you might not realize: your chain doesn't stop once you get a shiny. It keeps going, so you can keep going at that 1 in 200 chance and keep soft resetting for a shiny, and eventually, or not soft resetting, I'm saying that wrong. You use the Poké Radar over and over again, and eventually you'll get your shiny again, and it might take several hundred tries or more, but you can keep doing it and getting more and more shinies if you want at the same low odds. But it's a lot better than the usual odds. So, yeah, those are the basic things to remember. Just never go at patches on the edge, ones that are near you, and from my findings, never ones that are next to each other, even if they're both good, never do that. And yeah, just trust your instincts. If you see a patch that you don't think is good, just run back and forth 50 steps and do it again. That's what I did, and it worked for me. And as you can see here, I keep getting Skiddos. And yeah, you can write down how many in a row you've done, because as soon as you hit 40, you're going to want to stop. The way I usually judge is by how many moves my Pokemon have used. That doesn't always work, though, because if your attack misses, what I usually do is if an attack misses, I just catch it. But yeah, so that's the basics. Never use roller skates. Catching, killing, never run away. Never hit ones on the edge, yeah. So I think that covers everything about chaining in Pokemon X and Y. Good luck finding your shinies. And hope you like this video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and look forward to new videos in the future. Thank you.